Julia here. I love suspense in books. It doesn't matter what genre of book there is. Anytime there's any sort of suspense, I am like so engaged, so excited. Oh my gosh, I just love suspense. It's one of those things where it's not like a romance book where if there's a couple and they kiss, oh my gosh, there's romance. The best kind of suspense sneaks up on you. Where like, of course, there's a problem in the beginning, there's a conflict, but it slowly builds and builds and builds until at like one point you're just clutching the book like, I don't know what's gonna happen, I'm so scared. That's the type of suspense I love. And that's the type of suspense I'm gonna give you some tips on how you can create in your work today. So if you've read The Scavenger or Missing Her, most of these tips are coming from Missing Her. The Scavenger does have tension in it, but it's more tension between characters, and this is going to be more tension in the plot and how to create a cohesive plot structure that builds tension that way. So my first tip for writing good suspense is to set the tone early on. If you've read Missing Her, you'll know that there's a prologue right in the beginning that definitely sets the tone for the book. It's dark, it's intriguing, it's exciting, there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of confusion and a lot of dark things, and that's what should be setting the tone for a good suspense story. If you've ever seen a horror movie, a lot of the old classics start with like a kill. Like for example, the original Halloween, which I'll be referencing a couple of times in this movie because it has such great suspense. The first scene in Halloween shows a murder, and there's a big reveal at the end of the scene, which makes the scene jump from like this intensity to like that intensity because you're just like, oh my gosh, was not expecting that. It's a great reveal. Great movie if you haven't watched it, but that's a great way of setting the tone for the rest of the piece because you're starting it off with this intriguing, intense scene right from the get-go. You're not wasting any time, no dialogue or anything like that, just going right into it, and that's a great way to do suspense. My second tip for writing suspense is to keep an underlying tension throughout the story. So whether that's between characters, whether that's between an event. For Missing Her, it's of course the disappearance of Eliza because Vanessa is searching for Eliza, and no matter what she does or what she goes through and she doesn't feel like she's getting any closer, that's a tension, and like there's a purpose and there's a destination that's seemingly out of reach. So for example, again, like in a horror book or in like a mystery, if you know something is going to happen and you can't stop it, or there's a killer on the loose and you can't find them, you can't figure out why they're doing this, that's a good way to have tension and suspense. Tip number 3 is to keep bumping up the stakes. So one of the best ways to do this is to have a time crunch. So if there's a certain amount of time that is ticking down, and they have to do something, the characters have to, I don't know, find something or find someone in a certain amount of time unless something bad happens. Usually someone dies or everyone dies. That's a great way to have suspense. So time ticking is a great way to do that. Another way to do this is if they're in a closed environment and something is going on within this enclosed environment that is causing them trouble. Good example of this is Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. One by one, people are getting killed off, and it's obviously one of them in the group on the island, but they can't figure out which one. That's a great way to add suspense because you might be leading to one person and then that person dies and you're like, obviously it wasn't them then. So that's a great way to, again, add suspense and keep the reader guessing along with the characters. That's a great way to add suspense. Tip number 4 is to give the reader unknowns. Obviously, you want the reader to know stuff about your characters and about your work, but leaving some things that are unknown are always intriguing. Again, for Halloween, there's obviously a killer on the loose, and obviously he wears that creepy white mask, but there's a whole mystery about what he looks like, why he's doing this. Is he insane? Some people think he's possessed. Like there's all this mystery surrounding this story, and that's again what builds the suspense because you know this is happening and you know that it's occurring with these characters, but there's still the unknown of why and how and who is this guy. So like all of those unknowns with the knowns make it that much more intense and that much more creepy. Very good stuff. Last but not least, number 5 is to have the reader know something that the characters don't. Now, I see this a lot in horror movies, but it's a little harder to do in books. There is a little bit of this done in Missing Her. I don't want to give too much away, but basically it's where the author, the director, gives the reader information about something that later comes up with a character, but they don't know it. So again, Halloween, there's a scene where there's a woman and a man comes into the room wearing a ghost costume, and the woman thinks that it's her boyfriend, when in fact we as the audience know that it's Michael Myers, but the girl can't tell because he has the ghost costume on, and of course she doesn't realize it until it's too late. So that's a great way where the reader knows that ain't your boyfriend. Get out of there, but she doesn't, so that watching that scene play out is, oh my gosh, so much suspense, so much tension. Honestly, Halloween is a great example of having suspense in a story, because a lot of the times there's nothing really going on and it's just someone is looking at someone, or there's a glimpse of someone and then they're gone, and there's just this great tension throughout. Whenever I need like a creepy idea or like a creepy mindset, always go back to the OG Halloween. It's just so good. It's a masterclass in suspense. So that's all I have for you guys today. Are you feeling creeped out yet? Are you feeling you want to write something super spooky? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you guys for stopping by. Bye.